Welcome back to SportsZone. Last block we talked about the women's team, and now we are talking about the UNT men's basketball team, who also suffered a disappointing fate in their conference tournament. I'm joined by William Taylor and Ian Cropper, the birthday boy. We have to get a little bit of love to Ian. It is his birthday. Everyone clap it up for me. But
thank you, guys.
On to some sad news. We did lose in triple overtime. I mean, fourth in program history to Tulsa. I mean, let's talk about that game a little bit. It was insane.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I do think the Golden Hurricane were just the better team. It's sad, but it's true. Our offense struggled all season, and in this game in particular, it cost us. At one point, we had a 17-point lead, and we responded by going scoreless for 5 minutes. That offense haunted us again in that third overtime period when they outscored us 11-5. Honestly, it was a great season, and we took a much better team than us to the brink, but I can't say I'm too surprised.
William, how about you? Was that loss something you were expecting, or, was it tough?
It was a tough loss to stomach. I thought we were going to win. I really had hope for this team, but unfortunately things didn't go our way, and sometimes you got to hold on to the lead. That's what happened. They didn't do it.
I mean, yeah, a huge lead, 17 points at one point. This is multiple games this season that we have choked big leads. Does that concern you with Coach Robinson? Do you worry about his in-game coaching a little bit?
Well, a little bit, but honestly, I still think he did a pretty good job with what he was given. We lost a ton of players in the offseason, and we had some major injuries, mainly Will McClendon, but he still had the conference best defense and helped us put up some good performances against stronger teams. After all, we did take Tulsa to the brink, so given that, I do think he's earned another shot.
That's fair. I mean, how did you feel about Coach Robinson's early first season at UNT, William?
I felt that his identity hasn't fully been established yet, but I see the vision. I see it being a defense-oriented squad. I feel like we can get the offensive done as long as if we can hold on. I know we can build big leads, but if we can hold on to them and going into next year, if Will McClendon stays healthy going into next year, I feel like we can make a real good run next year.
Yeah, both of you guys have mentioned Will McClendon. He was supposed to be our star offensive player going into the year and then injured very early on. How different do you think the season is if we have another high-level offensive guard, or maybe our only high-level offensive guard in some respects?
Well, yeah, it would have been a huge difference because he was supposed to be the engine of our offense. We still had that amazing defense, but if we could produce on offense too, especially in a close game against Tulsa, we would have upset the 3 seed. And we might not have even been in the position to be facing the 3 seed that early to begin with.
Yeah, David Terrell did have a great game versus Tulsa, but Jashawn Stevenson, who's been the leading scorer the entire season, kind of struggled. He made his free throws, but he was inefficient with his shooting. Was that something that concerned, do you think Jashawn Stevenson is the future of this team, William?
I believe he is. I believe he just needs more time. I think he needs to go into the lab this offseason, work on his free throws, work on the late K execution. I think if he can build upon those skills, he can definitely be the future of this team.
That's fair. Ian, is there anyone else on this team that gives you confidence in the future that you think we could build around, or at least get some valuable contributions out of?
Yeah, Stevenson is going to be a major name there, but I am interested in who's going to fill that David Terrell role. One name I have my eye on is actually Reese Robinson, because the sophomore forward, 6'8", 225 pounds, has the second best field goal percentage on the team at 50.3%. If he's next to Stevenson, he could put up some numbers.
Obviously, Jashawn Stevenson's someone that we could, we want to build around, but in the new era of the transfer portal and NIL, do you think that a bigger program comes calling, or do you think that we're going to be able to hold on to Jashawn Stevenson this offseason?
Honestly, I have no idea. It's so hard to predict who's going to end up where, what's going to happen, which moves will be made. We just have to wait and see.
That's fair. Do you have confidence in this team going forward in the American? Because this was kind of, like an interesting year for the American, kind of a transitionary period for a lot of the top teams. Do you think that this is a team that is going to be able to compete in the future?
I do think so, yes. For a down year, we still had some pretty strong aspects that we could point to and say, yes, we did well at this year.
So, William, what are your final thoughts on this UNT season? It ended in, some heartbreak, but what did you think about it?
It ended in heartbreak. I think the rise is coming. I think we're still only like 5th in the American Conference. I think we're moving on up. We're above 500. I think the wins, especially we get Will McClendon back, I feel like the wins will only go up from there.
That's fair. And speaking of wins, we are going to talk about the main March Madness bracket. And there's a lot of exciting matchups in this one. What are your guys', what regions are you most excited for, Ian?
Honestly, I couldn't decide because it depends on what you want from the tournament. In terms of the best overall teams, I think it's by far the East. Look at some of the names you have. Duke, Kansas, UCLA, Louisville, Michigan State, UConn. Those teams alone, 30 championships. And you also have other big schools like Ohio State, TCU, St. John's, and South Florida. That is going to be a heavyweight bout for the ages, especially in the later rounds. But in terms of the earlier rounds, I think the South has by far the most upset potential. In fact, I have 4 upsets happening in that first round. McNeese over Vanderbilt, Troy over Nebraska, VCU over North Carolina, and perhaps my boldest take, Penn over Illinois.
Wow, you are on the Fran McCaffrey train. I mean, why are you so confident in Penn?
I mean, they have that level of intelligence and that coaching that knows how to play that high-level basketball. I do think they're going to make some noise, and eventually I do think the region's heavyweights like Houston and Florida will clear out some of the Cinderellas, but those early games will be wild.
I mean, how insane that TJ Power is leading the Penn Quakers. He was a 5-star at Duke so many years ago. He's with Jared McCain at Duke, and now he's at Penn leading them to the tournament. I mean, it's crazy, but William, what region is exciting you the most?
Honestly, I will have to say the North. And the North is very exciting for me. I think you got Alabama, you got Georgia, you got Michigan, who has been incredibly dominant this season. They have been very, very good. I mean, you got University of Kentucky, who's always a challenge. You got Georgia, you got to watch out for them. You got Alabama, you got this SMU, the Miami game that's coming on tomorrow. I'm going to be watching that. That's going to be interesting. We're going to see what happens there.
Yeah, Ian, you mentioned that you had the most upset heavy region as, McNeese and all them. I think that this is the region I would pick. I think you have Miami of Ohio could pull an upset. I think you have Akron could definitely pull an upset. Hofstra with Aiden Holloway out now, I think they could pull an upset. I think that there are there's a lot of upset potential in this region.
I'm going to go one further. I think whoever wins that 11th seed between Miami, Ohio, and SMU does pull off the upset over Tennessee. They both have strengths that I could see helping them a lot. Now, Tennessee will be a tough opponent, and they are getting one of their best players in Nate Ament back after an ankle sprain, but both Miami, Ohio, they're money in close games, and SMU has great offensive rebounds and a great guard with Boopy Miller.
And I think another SEC team could take an L here. I think Santa Clara is a team I'm picking over Kentucky. I think Allen Graves is one of the most impactful freshmen in the country, and I think they could be Kentucky. But I think that the 11 seeds in this tournament are really interesting. You have Miami of Ohio versus SMU. Like you said, I think both could make a run. And then Texas, NC State, they have at least talent. I think they could make some noise, but the teams that are going to make the most noise are the title contenders. So I want to hear from you guys. Who are your favorites for this tournament?
Oh, well, honestly, this might be a tiny bit of a hot take since I think Duke is the clear favorite, but I have Michigan. Now, it's easy to see why Duke is the favorite. Cam Boozer is their latest generational prospect that they seem to get every year. John Schneider is an excellent coach, and the roster's depth is unmatched. But you know the classic saying, defense wins championships. And this Michigan team reminds me a lot of Houston's team that beat Duke last year with an extra offensive spark. They're overwhelming their opponents with one of the country's biggest starting lineups. Their top 3 scorers are all 6'9" or taller, and that gives them an imposing, unstoppable wall on both sides, on both offense and defense. So I do think they pull up a win over Duke in the final.
And Dusty May, he has the experience in the tournament with FAU. That's big to have.
Absolutely.
William, what about you? Who are your favorites for this tournament?
Honestly, my favorites for the tournament, like he said, it was Michigan, of course. I think UConn. I think UConn can go all the way.
Interesting.
I think they have the experience. I think they have the drive. I think they want to get back to championship glory. I think it's their year. I think they're going to go all the way.
Wow, okay. And no one picking Duke. I have to be the, hot take guy here, and I have to go with Duke. I think Cameron Boozer is the generational prospect, and I think this year, though, is I've heard a lot of people say this is a chalk year where there's not going to be a lot of upsets, that a lot of the top teams are too good because of the NIL era. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think we're going to see less upsets this year compared to before?
I certainly hope not. The upsets are what makes March Madness, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if we did see fewer upsets. It's kind of just the direction the game is moving with NIL. Why stay at a small school and build that consistency that helped us get so many Cinderella runs when you could get the only payday you're likely to get as an athlete at this level?
I also do know some people said, the matchups were tough. Like Northern Iowa, they get St. John's. Northern Iowa was a 12 seed that you could really pick to win a game, but St. John's, Rick Pitino and everything, that's tough to beat. But, the top seeds this year are all really, really talented. We haven't even mentioned Arizona, who, I think are breaking the Ken Pom record this year along with Duke and Michigan. They are the best teams in history. So, it's going to be a really tough tournament. It's going to be very impressive. We're going to have to see. Next block, we are going to be talking about the Dallas Stars and NHL season. So, join me after these commercial breaks.